Microsoft just released two new agents, Agent Mode and their Office Agent. And on the surface and in the demo videos, they look pretty good and extremely useful. So, are these new agents the future of work if you're a Windows user and Microsoft 365 Copilot user? Or is this just another case of Microsoft's marketing looking really good and millions of people won't know how to use these agents? We're going to dive in and hopefully find that out today on Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson, and welcome to Everyday AI. This is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday business leaders like you and me not just keep up with what's happening in the world of AI, but how we can make sense of it, grow our companies and our careers. If that's what you're trying to do, it starts here with the unedited, unscripted live stream podcast. But if you want to take it to the next level, make sure to go to our website, youreverydayai.com. There, we recap each day's podcast in our free daily newsletter. And there's also like 620 plus episodes you can go listen to by category, watch the video, all that good stuff on our website. So, yeah, and AI news went straight up bonkers today, y'all. I mean, we heard about Sora 2, we got Claude 4, 5, these new agents, right? So much happening in AI news today. So make sure you go check out the newsletter. But we're here to talk about Microsoft's new agent, their agent mode and Office agents. Uh, let's be honest, they look great. They look great, but the real question is, will anyone be able to actually use them and access them? And it's Hot Take Tuesday. So I've got some takes on that. But the first thing is, this is, you guys wanted this, right? So, if you are a longtime podcast listener and maybe some of the episodes you're like, hey, dude, this stinks. Well, go sign up for our newsletter. I do a lot of polls in the daily newsletter asking you all what you want to hear. So if you want to hear more of something, well, go make sure you read our newsletter and vote in the polls. But overwhelmingly, you all, even more so than the new ChatGPT Pulse, which I thought everyone would want to hear about. But you all want to hear about the new Copilot agent mode. So today, we're going to go over Microsoft's announcement of Agent Mode and their Office agent, tell you who can use them, how and what work they can start to automate. And I'm going to tell you if this is actually a fundamental shift in how millions of Windows workers are going to work, or if it's just some cool marketing and a nice little feature that may or may not be useful. Let's get straight to it. I won't make you wait any longer. My hot take, well, Microsoft made a huge marketing mistake here. They're leaning into this thing called vibe working, which seemed kind of out of left field. And when we dive into these two new agents a little bit more, you'll probably see what I'm talking about. Is this true vibe working? Not really. Is Microsoft in prime position to maybe be the vibe working platform of the future? Probably, but I don't think this is it. Also, this is extremely useful for enterprises that have all of their data in line. That's who I think this is ultimately for, but also not really. Anyways, if you are an enterprise company with your data in Microsoft 365, this is will actually change how you work. Well, once everyone gets access, because that's another thing. I think Microsoft sacrificed clarity and user experience in just chasing some new agents that they can put on their website and say, we release these new agents. Well, there's a lot of things that I think just were bad, right? So at least right now, they're web only. There's no commercial accounts for some of them. So let's just take a look at this. So the agent mode, there's a different agent mode in Excel and a different agent mode in Word. But right now, those are online, but they are for both kind of personal. So personal and family subscribers. So you have to be a Microsoft 365 Copilot subscriber. So you have to have obviously a Microsoft 365 license, a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. But to use agent mode in Word or Excel, you can have either a normal commercial type of license or a family or personal subscription. Here's what's weird. Office agent. What the heck? This is the one I was most excited about. And at least right now, it's only available to personal and family subscribers. it's not available to licensed customers, which makes absolutely no sense. Yes, this has got to be the hottest take of all. Like Microsoft, why? Right? When you release something called Office Agent, you're known for Office, and the majority of your enterprise customers can't use said Office Agent. Come on. Like, you don't need 220,000 employees to know that that's a terrible mistake. They shouldn't have done this. This is going to make what is already a convoluted Copilot experience even more full of webs to untangle. I spent honestly 3 hours trying to understand how different groups of people get access to these different agents and how. It is extremely confusing, which is unfortunately on brand for Microsoft Copilot, which is sad because once their products, once you get them to work and you can give everyone access, Copilot's great, right? I think, unfortunately, especially in the AI circles where us AI dorks are running, Copilot doesn't get a lot of credit, although I think they should. Especially now since they're starting to use the GPT-5 models from OpenAI. They just started rolling out Claude models, and we're going to be talking about that here in these agents as well. So Microsoft should be getting more credit, but the user experience is terrible. Getting people access to at least these agents is going to be disjointed, and it's going to be such a delayed rollout, it seems. So you only get one big shot if you come out with something called agent mode or Office Agent, and I think Microsoft squandered it. Sorry. All right, but let's talk about these two new agents. So there's no, sometimes Microsoft says, this is wave one, wave two, so there's no name anymore. So I'm just going to call this the September 29th release because that's what we have. All right. So anyways, what the heck is new and what are these agents? Well, they add autonomous multi-step orchestration inside of Office apps right now on the web. So hopefully that changes. Agent mode. So again, the two different agents, agent mode and Office agent. Agent mode embeds iterative task execution directly inside Excel and Word right now. We'll see if it rolls out to their other Office products in the near future. And Office Agent, so I know that's kind of confusing. Actually, Agent Mode works inside of Office's products, but Office Mode works inside Copilot Chat, another naming thing. Come on, Microsoft. This is confusing. But anyways, Office Agent works inside of Copilot Chats, and it creates complete documents with research-backed outputs. And I'm going to show a little demo here in a couple of minutes of that one. So what can you do now? That's ultimately what it's about, right? It's like, okay, cool. You can throw a million agents, at all your users. Well, what the heck can you do today that you couldn't do yesterday? Or once, everyone gets access to these agents, what can you do that you couldn't do before? Well, a lot of things. And I've been testing out the one in Excel, and it's actually pretty good. Like even for some of the GPT-5 thinking, I was trying on the new Claude 4.5 Sonnet, Gemini 2.5 Pro. I was trying some data visualization things, and actually Microsoft Agent in Excel, the agent mode is handled it the best because all the other models, kind of cut off a certain amount of data. Obviously, I was throwing thousands and thousands of rows of Excel data at it. And, luckily, Excel handled it better than the other large language models. Granted, that's not what the other front end models are necessarily good at, right? Handling 50,000 rows of an Excel sheet. Not always the best use case, but hey, if I'm testing it, if the agent mode in Excel couldn't handle that, then I'd be like, this is a problem. But it actually did really well. So here's some things that you can do. In Excel, you can do financial models, loan calculators, visual analysis, and validation without expertise. That's the other thing, right? You no longer have to Google for 10 minutes or Google AI mode for 2 minutes on how the heck do I write this formula. Now it actually just works inside of Copilot, and you can actually talk to it and it actually works, right? Whereas before people are like, wait, why doesn't this work? Well, it does now. Inside Word, you can do multi-file updates, structured drafting, and polished formatting through dialogue. And the Office agent has a chat first generation of presentations and documents with live previews and checks. So let's talk about the agent mode first. Again, this is the one that works in Word and Excel right now. So um, multi-step execution, that's the big thing. And it uses the agent mode uses OpenAI's latest reasoning models to modify documents and workbooks directly. Not sure which version of GPT-5 it uses, or if it maybe uses the older, O3, O4 mini. We're not sure. It did just say it uses their latest reasoning models. So we hope that's maybe, I don't know, GPT-5, GPT-5 thinking. Not sure. I kind of looked under the hood. I looked at the chain of thought summary from agent mode in Excel. There's no identifying information aside from it's using a reasoning model from OpenAI. But it does do a really good job, I thought, of planning, executing, evaluating, fixing issues, and then you can repeat and iterate until the outcomes are verified. So it is kind of simple to just chat with the agent mode, at least in Excel. That's the only one I was able to demo. However, there were some weird issues, right? So a couple of things that would randomly merge cells, which is not good. So I had to like reprompt and tell it specifically not to merge cells. That's probably a pretty big bug that Microsoft should have squashed. I was looking it up and there weren't a lot of people, online that had been talking about this, but I saw other people had this issue. And the problem is when you're using this thinking model and it actually does a really good job, but the problem is it's very slow. So if you do have a couple of errors, you're going to have to kind of get your prompts right. And if you're working with the same type of data or the same type of spreadsheets, hopefully you can find those errors early on, do some basic prompt engineering and get around them in the future. All right, so that is agent mode. And then, well, who can actually use it? So like I said, right now, in agent mode, this is for enterprise Copilot license and personal family subscribers via the Frontier Early Access program, which is free and pretty much automatic to get in. So Excel, though, on the web, you have to use it on the web, and it requires the Excel Labs add-in, and then you select agent mode. I have a screenshot of this, so I'll walk you through it. And then it's web only for Excel and Word, and desktop support is coming soon. Another big bummer. So if you are using Office Agent, you will see it is in the upper left-hand corner. When you choose your agents, you will see that agent there. Oh, I think I had that screenshot out of order, but that's fine. All right. So what's new in Microsoft's new Office agent? All right. So that's the one that you use inside of Copilot Chat. And right now, doesn't work with enterprise customers. Makes no sense. So this has the chat first agent inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. This one is powered by Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4 and Claude Opus 4.1. No word yet on if Anthropic Claude's just released Sonnet 4.5 will be supported or not, but at least we got like actual models for Claude where we didn't get them for OpenAI. So it helps to clarify intent, and then it also researches, previews, and generates polished Word or PowerPoint files right in the chat. So I'll play a demo of it here shortly where we can kind of see a better glimpse of exactly how this one works. So for this one, who can use it? How can you use it and where? Like I said, right now it's only for personal and family Copilot subscribers in the US, which is like no one. It just so happens that's my plan or my tier. I didn't have access. Unfortunately, I didn't have access to Office Agent just yet. I didn't have access to agent mode in Word, but I did have access to agent mode in Excel. You do enterprise availability is scheduled for later phases of the rollout. Like I said, I think Microsoft kind of missed the mark on that one. Also, English only at launch, and again, access via just the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat on the web. All right, so let's talk about agent mode in Excel and agent mode in Word and how you can access those. So for agent mode in Excel, you need to be on Excel in the web. You need to go to the add-ins kind of toolbar at the top of at the top of your screen, and then you need to add Excel Labs. Then you will click to use Excel Labs agent mode, and then you are then using agent mode. So a little different. You won't click the Copilot banner. You have to actually go into the add-ins, go into Excel Labs, and then click agent mode to use agent mode. So a little weird because you would think, okay, well, maybe agent mode in Excel and agent mode in Word, you use them the same way. No, you don't. Another confusing thing, Microsoft. User experience. Come on. Like this should be easy. This is something that ChatGPT is great on. Obviously, it's way more robust, right? Copilot, what you can do inside of Copilot. It works in like 1,000 different apps, and ChatGPT is just one, right? So obviously it's a little easier. But y'all, have we not heard of simple toggles, simple drop downs, simple, right? Very easy to navigate where to find stuff. It's just difficult to find these agents right now inside Microsoft's ecosystem. So on the Word side, so the agent mode in Word, a little different. You don't have to go into any labs or add anything. It should just be in your options toggle on the right-hand side when you are talking with Copilot. And then there should be a new agent mode frontier drop down that you would choose. So, you can choose researcher, you can choose analyst, you can choose designer. So at the very top, there should be a new option for agent mode. So that's how you access the 3 different agents across the different products. So how do the agent mode products actually work? So they plan, execute, evaluate, fix issues, and repeat until verified. Office Agent clarifies on the other side. Office Agent clarifies intent, performs web research. That's the part that's really cool, and I want to get my hands on. I like how the Office Agent really does its work, and then it runs quality checks as well. But in each of these different agentic workflows, the new agents from Microsoft, users do steer goals while the agents automate procedural steps and iterations. All right, so podcast audience, you're going to hear now, I'm going to play a quick 54-second demo from Microsoft on their new Office agent. So again, this is the one that for whatever reason is ultimately going to be amazing for enterprises, but it's not available to enterprises. It's only right now, this version, the Office agent, is only available to personal and family Copilot subscribers, which makes no sense. And a quick reminder on what it can do. Well, in the Microsoft Copilot chat interface, which is what we're going to see in this quick little demo, you can build, Word docs and PowerPoints. It's first going to ask you clarifying questions. You can choose template, style, multi-step web research, quality checks at every turn. So let's just go ahead and listen in our live stream audience. You should be able to watch the video here.
Introducing the new Office agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot, the chat-first way to build Office artifacts, starting with Word and PowerPoint. Just describe what you need, and Office agent gets to work. Office agent begins by asking clarifying questions personalized to your prompt, such as key focus areas, style, presentation length, and templates. It then launches multi-step web research to gather and analyze relevant info and images. You can watch as it plans how to create your presentation, executes the plan, and runs quality checks at every step, all while you steer and guide. The output is a polished deck that you can continue to iterate on with Copilot, or hand off to PowerPoint and use Copilot to make edits in the app, like changing some text to a bulleted list. Try Office Agent today and start vibe working with Copilot. What you need.
All right. Y'all, this is what literally everyone has wanted out of Copilot for the past 2 years that Copilot has been around, and it didn't come out until yesterday, and it didn't come out for the people who actually need this, which is enterprise workers. Okay, so again, let me quickly walk and talk everyone through if you weren't watching the video version of this. So in this
and Office Agent.
they are inside Copilot chat, and then not having to draw from any files. So you can, using the slash command, you could have it read a Word doc, have it read an Excel sheet, have it read a PowerPoint, and then create a new version. But in this instance, in this demo, what they're doing is just having it do some research. So what it does first, it kind of creates an outline. And it goes through task clarification, which is really nice, right? This one feature, I wish all large language models would do this. So some of them kind of do versions of this. So if you're doing deep research in ChatGPT, it'll usually ask you 2 to 5 clarifying questions. They're open-ended though, which is fine. You have to type them out. Google Gemini Deep Research gives you a plan, and then you can just approve it or edit it. So what I really like about this Office agent, it's actually really cool, at least in this demo, right? So it breaks down a task clarification, and it gives you essentially checkboxes to say. So, in this instance, it says presentation focus. Then it gives you 5 different things to check. Data visualization. In this case, there's 2 different options. It's, do you want include charts for all key statistics, or minimal charts focus on text, right? Like, that's great. If you're putting together a PowerPoint based on web research, having these, 4 or 5 quick clarifying questions, and then just being able to check something is ultimately going to save 30 minutes, 60 minutes, multiple hours on the back end, right? And that's just if you were using the normal Copilot features inside of PowerPoint, let alone if you're doing this manually, it's going to take way more time. Okay, so then what happens next after you kind of choose from those clarifying questions? Then you can choose a presentation length. And then there's also some built-in themes, right? So you don't have to, be wondering what the heck is this thing going to come look like. So you can choose for presentation length, but brief, 5 to 7 slides, standard, 8 to 12 slides, detailed, 13 to 15 slides, or comprehensive, 16 to 20 slides. Y'all, this is what everyone's wanted out of Copilot for forever, right? Go do a bunch of research, ask me a couple questions and give me a decent looking PowerPoint, right? This is your, management consulting 101. This is what management consultants do. All right. So then after you choose the presentation length, after you choose your theme, you submit. And then at this point, this is when it goes out, the Office agent, and it starts to do web crawl here. So it does multiple web searches, right? Just like a deep research would. And again, this version here is powered by Anthropic's Claude's models, which are great at agentic research and just agentic work in general. So it goes through, it does a couple of web crawls, a couple follow-ups, looking for more information. In this instance, it's looking at images online, and then it's planning the slides, right? So at each of these iterations, it looks like you can stop and edit things, but it's starting to plan all of these slides. It on the right-hand side, it's starting to show a preview. You can go in, kind of read the preview. You can also modify it in natural language. So in the demo video, it says, I'll modify slides, the prompt was remove the image in slide 6 and turn the bullets into a visual. Great, natural language prompt. So as you see your PowerPoint slides being built, if something's not right, you can say simple, hey, slide blank, get rid of this, change this, and it seemingly does it fairly well. And then at the end, it has a decent looking PowerPoint, right? So this, from an AI perspective, it's not, at the level of like a Gamma or something like that I think has very clean visuals when it comes to, AI presentations. But again, at least on this demo, fantastic. And I'm very bullish on this, but what the heck? Why, Microsoft, aren't you giving this to the people that probably actually want to use it? Right? You're going to force all these enterprises to, get a personal or family Copilot plan just to start using it. All right. So let's keep this thing going and talk about what specific models each one each agent uses. So, like I said, agent mode uses OpenAI's latest reasoning models. And then Office Agent, the one I just showed a demo of, which doesn't work in Office, it works in Copilot Chat, that uses Claude's model. But I do think Microsoft is smart with this multi-model strategy, right? Using the right model for the right reasons, which is actually pretty good on Microsoft, considering they have an equity stake in OpenAI, but they don't in Anthropic. So in one case, they are actually paying ultimately to use a model that they say is better than the one that they have equity in. So, hats off to Microsoft for presumably doing the right thing. I'm sure their internal testing on this was rigorous, right? Imagine having to be the one to make that call. Hey, this model that we have equity stake in, well, we're not going to use it for this agent. We're going to pay probably a ton of money to use a model from Anthropic because it gives better performance. So what's this multi-step orchestration? And how is this really different? Well, this breaks high-level goals into subtasks, right? So these agents in all the demo videos, and we'll be sharing those in our newsletter today if you want to go watch those, it does break it down into multiple steps. So in my demoing of the agent mode in Excel, it actually did a really good job of that. And I was fairly impressed. And Excel it can create sheets, formulas, charts, and summaries with validation-driven loops. And then in Word, the Word one I wasn't super impressed with, if I'm being honest. The agent mode in Word, I don't know. I would probably much rather use ChatGPT Canvas mode, Google Gemini Canvas mode, Claude Artifacts. Probably not Claude Artifacts. I'd probably use ChatGPT Canvas mode or Gemini Canvas mode. Again, Microsoft's pushing this whole like vibe writing, vibe working. No, again, I probably wouldn't use the agent mode in Word over the long run. The only instance is, or the huge value, obviously, again, if you are a heavy Microsoft 365 organization and you have docs that are constantly changing, you can obviously use the / command in Word, reference multiple docs and create a new doc, pulling key information from your other files that are up to date across your organization. That's, you can't overlook the value add of that. But aside from that, agent mode in Word, agent mode in Excel, loving it. Office Agent, I will love it once everyone gets access, because it's going to be super confusing. So let me just tear this apart real quick. Microsoft, kind of out of nowhere, just going with this vibe working, right? And getting back to the heart of this episode, right? Is this the new way that millions of people inside Windows are going to work, right? This new agent mode in Office Agent, or is it just fancy marketing? And this just, I don't know what it was that, was really grinding my gears about this one. It's not nearly as bad as when Apple rebranded Apple Intelligence, or they rebranded artificial intelligence and try to call it Apple Intelligence. But I don't know, Microsoft. Vibe working, right? The literal headline of their agent mode release on their website said vibe working, introducing agent mode and Office Agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot. I get what they're going for, right? Like saying, hey, now, especially in Office Agent, right, where you can just create PowerPoints by, natural language prompts and, being able to pull information from across your other Microsoft documents. So I get the concept, but it's not there. It's not there because I know the Copilot ecosystem is problematic. I've talked to, and this is not exaggeration, I've been doing this for a long time. I've talked to hundreds of business leaders that are like, yeah, we pay for Microsoft Copilot licenses, but we can't use them because no one knows how, right? It's almost like Copilot is in too many places, but the places where you want to use Copilot, no one understands it. No one understands the user permissions, right? Getting people the right access. People are not sure. Oh, should I be using, Copilot in, M365 chat? Should I be using it in Teams? Should I be using it inside Microsoft Word? It's almost in way too many places. And file permissions, admin issues. It's very confusing. So many large, I'm talking Fortune 500 companies that I've talked to have Microsoft 365, and they're still instead using ChatGPT or Gemini because it's confusing. So Microsoft, instead of trying to create a category, right, of like we're the vibe working platform, how about you just make Copilot work a little bit better, right? And this rollout is exactly what I'm talking about. Why? Why would you roll out this office agent that is, like I've said, I'd hate to beat the dead horse, but sorry, dead horse, I'm going to beat you one more time. This is what people have been wanting, Microsoft, right? An easy way to create an actual great looking presentation with an actual agentic experience, right? This multi-step orchestration, working with all of your files, doing multiple steps of research, being able to iterate and observe along the way. This is what everyone's wanted. Yet, good luck anyone getting access, right? Because at least according to their release, it's not available to the people that I think actually need it and could push this thing forward, right? And people, and I talk to people, kind of off the record at Microsoft all the time, and many of them are aware of this. And you wonder why more people aren't raving about Copilot. They should be, but this is one of the reasons, right? The rollout is jagged, permissions are confusing, and the go-to-market is non-existent. This is not a strategy. This is a strategy for confusion, and for when it's finally available for everyone else, they're going to be like, wait, this is old. No, it's not, right? When thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of companies get access to this, whether that's in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, they're going to be like, wait, this already rolled out and it didn't work for us. So why would we look at it again? You don't get 5 shots at a grand reopening. You get 1. So a little bit more on multi-step orchestration, and then we're going to wrap today's show up. So this is where you just state desired outcome. And I do think it's worth talking about again, because this is one of the big differences between these new agents and what was already available inside of Copilot or what was already available inside of Copilot Studio. And this is where Microsoft was, really trying to go hard with this vibe working thing. But this is where you just state, end users state their desired outcome, and hopefully Copilot handles the complex steps conversationally and iteratively. Hopefully it speeds up. Like I said, I was happy with the results that I was doing in agent mode in Excel, but sometimes, like when it merged cells randomly, I had to wait like 5 minutes for it to unmerge those cells, right? So the iterative nature is great. The multi-step orchestration is great, except if it's really slow, right? So that's one huge downside. And this does adapt these kind of vibe coding principles to mainstream productivity for non-experts, right? So anyone, if you haven't vibe coded, right, that's where all these platforms, there's dozens, Cursor, Lovable, Bolt, right? Google has some great ones where you just talk to and you're like, hey, build me an app that does A, B, and C. And then it spits out the first version. You're like, oh yeah, this is good. But let's, make it cleaner. Let's add in a database, etc. Right? So you're just literally talking something into existence. So that's what Microsoft is going for here with this new multi-step orchestration in agent mode and Office agent. But I just think it's going to fall short a little bit. Limitations. What about that? Well, it's Frontier only preview, so you have to be part of the Frontier program. It's only web first, which is another downside. I'm guessing that might be one of the reasons why it's not. Some of these things aren't rolling out to the full enterprise customers right now. Office Agent is limited to US and English during the initial preview phase. And the Excel agent mode, although it did really good, it actually benchmarked really, really well. So I have this benchmark here. This is from the spreadsheet bench accuracy results from Microsoft's website. It actually beat out a lot of the other agents on the spreadsheet bench accuracy results with a 57.2. So the downfall here is, well, still not as good as a human. A human scores about 71% on the spreadsheet bench accuracy, although the Copilot in Excel agent mode did much better than all of the other agents on this benchmark. So it's a step in the right direction, but it's not ready to necessarily replace your data analyst. But I do think, especially for those that are, either number one, creating a ton of PowerPoints, which is a lot of people, or spending a ton of time in Microsoft Excel, which I know is also a ton of people. That's why you have to pay attention to the, unfortunately, tiered and delayed rollout, because once this becomes available to everyone, I do think it's worth paying attention to. And you might be saying, like, well, couldn't you do this before? No. Previous Copilot was more of a single turn assistance without any autonomous multi-step orchestration, and users had to manually either reprompt from scratch because there was no iterative and evaluative and fix loops that existed before. But this new release does enable that proactive execution and verification inside of Office apps. So yeah, that's another big difference. Maybe you're using, Copilot in Excel before. What's the difference? Well, it breaks things down into this multiple step orchestration, but also the iterative nature. Right. So you don't, whereas before, to get better results, you just kind of have to reprompt from scratch. And now you can just say, like, yo, change this one thing. Right. In the example of Office Agent in the demo, it was, hey, get rid of the picture in slide 6 and change the bullet points to something more visual. Right. Being able to take just one step out of the multi-step orchestration that the agent did and just change that one thing versus having to reprompt the whole thing from scratch. So obviously that's a huge update. And then you're like, okay, Copilot Studio, didn't we have this? No. So although you could probably build not a lot, but you could probably build some of the things that you might use agent mode in Excel, agent mode in Word, or Office Agent for. You could probably build some of these capabilities in Microsoft Copilot Studio. So Microsoft Copilot Studio, for people that don't know, it's a low code, sometimes no code platform for building custom organizational agents that then you can use throughout your organization. The biggest difference here, well, agent mode and Office Agent, they're pre-built. They're end user features requiring no development. Copilot Studio, like I said, you got to go in and build it. So agent mode is already pre-built, pre-configured. It's for using. Copilot Studio is for building. So if you're confused, that's kind of the big differentiator. All right. So that's a wrap, but I want to leave you with a couple use cases that you can try today. All right. So agent mode in Excel, you can run a full sales analysis with charts and validated insights from a single prompt. All right, agent mode in Word. You can update a status report. You can pull data from multiple different files by using the / command and referencing those different files. You can do the same thing, obviously, in Excel, Excel's agent mode, and then Office Agent. So using that inside of chat, once it rolls out to enterprises, will be fantastic. So this is the ability to generate a market trends PowerPoint with live multi-step validated web research and previewing your slides before making them. All right. I hope this was helpful, y'all. I had so many questions about these new Microsoft agents and if they were more marketing or the future of work. And well, my hot take is a little of both. I think this rollout could have been much better by Microsoft. However, in the long run, I think these might be the agents that actually get people using and paying more attention to Microsoft Copilot, where they maybe hadn't as much before. So I hope this show was helpful. I hope maybe you got some of your questions answered. But if this was helpful, please consider reposting this on LinkedIn. We always send that to the live stream to our LinkedIn account. If you're listening on the podcast, appreciate your support. If you could subscribe, follow the channel, and leave us a rating. And then when you're done, please go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for that free daily newsletter. And then we'll see you back tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.